Alrighty guys, welcome to the video here today for Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. Of course, my name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/Brock Page. Guys, we got the laptop out here today going a little bit more informal. All the information's the same. I just might not be making as much eye contact with you in the camera. Typically, I have my notes right in front of the screen. Today, it's a little bit more off-center. So, don't mean to be any less personable with you. This is all the same information that I normally gather, just kind of delivered to you. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more informal. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some free content here today. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Rays at the Guardians, and that'll be a 6:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, Cleveland's the $1.50 favorite at home. Total is 7 runs. Looks like Shane Bieber for the Guardians, Corey Kluber for Tampa Bay. I'll tell you what, Kluber, he's got double-digit wins on the year. He's been pretty good over the past couple of seasons. He's got himself 130 strikeouts and a 1.18 whip. Of course, more of the same from Kluber year in and year out. Now, at the dish, Tampa Bay, they've had a pretty good time scoring runs against Cleveland. They're actually averaging nearly 6 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Guardians. Yandy Diaz, he's leading the club in batting average. He's hitting nearly 300 at the dish. Meanwhile, Randy Arozarena, he's the team leader in homers and runs batted in. Now, Cleveland on the other side of things, some problems with the bats. I know that they're red hot right now, but when it comes to head-to-head meetings with Tampa Bay, they've averaged only 3.6 runs a game during that span. They also have been very little threat hitting the long ball this year. They're currently second to last in the majors in home runs per contest. Now, when it comes to the number, Cleveland went 7-0 to the under in their last 7 Bieber starts. Tampa Bay 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Tampa Bay plus 1.5, keeping this one close, under 7. Next ball game, little NL Central action. Pretty meaningless game here, but there's lines on it and you can bet on it. So we're going to go ahead and handicap it. I'm talking about the Reds at the Pirates, 635 East. Now, Pittsburgh's minus $1.10. Total is 7. Looking at Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh, Hunter Green for Cincinnati. Now, Green, he is just 4-13 on the season with an ERA very close to 5. Are we shaking the camera here a little bit? All right. But anyway, Green is a guy that I've kind of been like shitting on all year long. Kind of went on a rant on him earlier in the year, but definitely not having a good season. 13 losses for Green. Meanwhile, the Reds as a team, they lost 7 out of their last 10, and they averaged just 2.3 runs a game during that stretch. So struggling both with the arms and the bats. Now, they're taking on Mitch Keller on the other side of things. He actually has over 125 strikeouts on the year, and he's officially got himself an ERA in the 3s. He's just barely in the 3s, but regardless, count it. He's got an ERA in the 3s. Now, offensively, Pittsburgh, they've actually averaged just about 5 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Reds. So I know that Pittsburgh struggled with the bats this year. We typically talk about how little they get on base, but when they play the Reds, they have little problem with run production. Now, Brian Reynolds, he's the team leader in batting average, home runs, and RBI. When it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of Pittsburgh's last 10 Keller starts stayed under the number. Meanwhile, Cincinnati as a team, they went 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Pittsburgh, the Pirates, minus $1.15, under 7. Next matchup, little AL Central action. Once again, another kind of pointless game. But anyway, it is going to be the Royals at the Tigers, and that'll be a 6:40 Eastern first pitch in Detroit. Now, the Tigers are minus $1.20 at home. Totals 8 runs. Looks like Joey Wentz for Detroit, Zach Greinke for Kansas City. Now, the Royals as a team, they've actually gotten the W in 6 out of their last 8. They beat the likes of Seattle, Minnesota, and Boston during that stretch. And they actually averaged just about 7 runs a game in those victories during that span I just mentioned. Of course, Bobby Witt Jr., he is the team leader in batting average and RBI. And of course, Salvi Perez, he's the leader in home runs on the squad. They're taking on a Detroit team on the other side of things. They have just a .400 win percentage at Comerica Park. And they've allowed just about 5 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Kansas City. Now, the Tigers offensively, they've been horrible all year round, and you've been hearing me day in and day out just talk about how bad this lineup is. They're dead last in scoring right now, dead last in OPS, and they hit fewer home runs a game than any other club in Major League Baseball. Now, oddly enough, sounds kind of weird, but 6 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings somehow got over the number. Kansas City saw 5 out of their last 8 Zach Greinke starts get over the line. I'm going to lean toward KC plus $1 over 8. Next matchup, NL East action. Atlanta taking on Washington, 7:05 Eastern first pitch in the nation's capital. Atlanta's the $2.40 favorite on the road, totals 8.5. Kyle Muller for Atlanta, Paolo Espino for Washington. Now, Espino is still in search of his first win of the year. He's pitched 108 innings this year and has yet to record a W. He's 0-7 on the season, ERA in the 4s. Meanwhile, this Washington team as a whole, they dropped 6 out of their last 8. No real surprise there. And they're also in the bottom 10 in home scoring at the dish. Now, Atlanta, they won 7 out of their last 10 themselves. Currently the National League leader in home runs. Austin Riley currently has 37 homers, which ranks 4th in the bigs in that category. And of course, teammate Matt Olson, his 95 RBI is actually first on the team as well. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's gone a staggering 76% to the over in their divisional road games. Meanwhile, Washington, they are 5-4 to the over in their last 9 Paolo Espino starts. I'm going to lean toward the Braves. -1.5, over 8.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Yankees at the Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Pretty much a coin flip in this one, guys. Both teams are -110 in Toronto, total 7.5 runs. Looks like Jose Barrios for the Blue Jays, Jameson Taillon for New York. Now, guys, unfortunately, I can't give you a free pick on this game here. This game is being featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website. But what I will do is I'll include a link in the description section below if you want to go ahead and access that. You're going to have to pay for it. It's not free. But if you want to see whether I'm betting on the money line, run line, or total in that one, that's going to be featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website. All right, next matchup, a little more NL East action here. I'm talking about the Marlins at the Mets, 7:10 Flushing, Queens. New York's -220, total 7. Carlos Carrasco for New York, Pablo Lopez for Miami. Now, Lopez has double-digit losses on the season. Meanwhile, the Marlins as a team, they have a .413 win percentage on the road. And offensively, they are in the bottom 5 in OPS. And, of course, speaking of offensive woes, these guys are averaging under 3.7 runs a game for the entire season. So this is a team who's significantly struggled at the plate, and they've done it consistently. And it's a shame because they have a really good starting rotation. Now, they're going to have to go against the Mets here today, and Carlos Carrasco. He's 15-6 with an ERA in the 3s. He's been very reliable on the bump. Now, the Mets as a team, they got the W in 8 out of their last 10. And they averaged 7.4 runs a game in those wins during that stretch. Of course, Pete Alonso, he's tied with Aaron Judge for the league lead in RBI. He's also second in the National League in home runs. 7 out of New York's last 10 ball games did get over the line. Miami 60% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Mets, -1.5, over 7. Next game, AL East action. Baltimore-Boston, 7:10 East. The Red Sox are -1.25 in Beantown. Totals 9. Michael Wacha for Boston. Kyle Bradish for Baltimore. Now, Bradish is just 4-7 on the year with a .465 ERA. Meanwhile, Baltimore as a team, they got the W in only 12 out of 32 divisional road games, really struggling against the AL East while traveling, and they're currently in the bottom 10 in road runs per contest. Unfortunately, they're going to have to face Michael Wacha here today, and he's been really good this year. He's 11-1 for the Bo Sox with a 2.70 ERA and a 1.06 WHIP. Meanwhile, offensively at the plate, this Boston team, they've averaged just about 7 runs a game in their last 6 Wacha starts. So when this guy takes the mound, great things have been happening for these guys. Of course, Rafi Devers, he has 27 home runs. That's a team best. He also has a club best 85 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Xander Bogaerts, he leads the lineup right now in batting average. He's hitting .313 at the plate. Now, 3 out of Boston's last 4 at Fenway did get over the number. Meanwhile, Baltimore went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward the Red Sox minus $1.25, over 9. Next game should be a good one. I'm talking about the Cardinals at the Brewers, 7:40 Eastern start time. Now, both teams are minus $1.10 in Milwaukee. Totals 8.5 runs. Looks like Adrian Hauser for Milwaukee, Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. And unfortunately, guys, this is another one of those games I cannot give you for free. This game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my website. Once again, I'll include a link for that play in the description section below. And if you do end up, thinking about getting that package here today, well, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Phillies at the Cubs, 7:40 Eastern start time. Philadelphia's minus 175, total 7. Zach Wheeler for Philadelphia, Marcus Stroman for Chicago. And as good as Stroman's looked in many different starts this year, the Cubbies just don't want to win for the guy. He comes into today's ball game with a 4-7 record overall for the year. Now, Chicago is a team, they're just 31-44 straight up at Wrigley, so really struggling in the friendly confines. They're in the bottom 10 in home scoring. Now, they have to face Zach Wheeler here today. He's 11-7 with an ERA in the 2s. Wheeler also has a 1.06 WHIP and over 150 strikeouts for the season. And, of course, at the plate, Philadelphia has been very good with the bats. They've averaged nearly 7.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Cubbies. Kyle Schwarber, 42 homers, National League leader. A lot of home runs for Schwobo. And, of course, Alec Boehm, he's hitting nearly 300 at the dish. He's got the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here today. 7 out of Philly's last 10 Wheeler starts did fall under the number. No real surprise here because he's been pitching so well all season long. And, of course, Chicago, they went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games themselves. I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia minus 1.5 and the under 7 in that tight window. Next ball game, White Sox, Twins, 7:40 p.m. East. Chicago's minus $1.25 on the road, total 6.5 runs. Lance Lynn for Chicago, Bailey Ober for Minnesota. And I apologize, guys. Unfortunately, once again, this is a game that I can't give out for free. This game's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. And that play is only going to cost you just $2.99. And just a reminder, guys, if you do end up signing up for a package here today on my website, you're actually going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my site absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. So if you do sign up for that extra daily bet, you're going to get free access to the daily best play absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. All right, moving on. Let's get to the free content. Arizona, Houston, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's the $2.25 favorite. Totals 8 runs. Lance McCullers for Houston. Zach Davies for Arizona. Now, guys, I don't understand why Arizona doesn't want to win for Davies. He's pitched solid in a lot of outings this year. But out of 125 innings pitched, Davies has picked up the W just twice. Only 2 wins and 125 innings of work this year. He does have an ERA in the 4s now. And of course, Arizona as a team, they dropped 7 out of their last 10. And they currently find themselves in the bottom 3 in road hits, really struggling getting base runners while traveling. Now, they got to face Lance McCullers on the other side of things. He comes into today's game with just one loss on the year and a very good 2.38 ERA. Meanwhile, Houston as a team, they currently have a .600 win percentage in their interleague contests. And they currently rank in the top 5 in home runs per game. Yordan Alvarez, he's 4th in the bigs with 37 homers. He's actually 2nd in the bigs in OPS as well. Meanwhile, teammate Kyle Tucker, he's 5th in the majors with 104 runs batted in. When it comes to the number, Houston's 60% to the under in their last 10. Arizona, 8-2 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Astros -1.5, under 8. Next ball game, it is going to be A's Angels, 9:38 East. The LA Angels are the $2.10 favorite. Totals 8 runs. Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles. James Caprillion for Oakland. The Cappies just 4-9 on the year with a 4.43 ERA and a 1.37 WHIP. Meanwhile, Oakland as a team, they're just 26-41 in divisional play, really struggling with their AL West opponents this year. And of course, they are currently dead last in the league in team batting average, lowest club batting average in the entire big leagues. They also have to face Patty Sandoval on the other side, and don't let his record fool you. Patty's had a handful of really good outings this year. He's actually got a 3.01 ERA. His ERA is nearly in the 2s, and he's he's very close to 150 strikeouts on the year. He is averaging over a strikeout an inning. As a team, the Angels won 3 out of their last 4 at Angel Stadium. And when it comes to head-to-head meetings with the A's, they actually held Oakland to just 2.6 runs a game in their last 10 games with each other. Now, the Angels are 19-13 to the under against the AL West at home. Meanwhile, Oakland saw 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Angels fall under the line. I'm going to lean toward the Angels -1.5, under 8. Next matchup, NL West. I'm talking about the Dodgers at the Padres, 9:40 Eastern start time at Petco. The LA Dodgers are -115 on the road, total 7.5. Tyler Anderson for the Dodgers, Blake Snell for San Diego. Now, Snell comes into today's start with a losing 8-9 record. He's just one loss shy of double digits for the season. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Padres have had their issues there at times, especially at home. They're currently in the bottom 3 in home hits. Now, they have to face Tyler Anderson here today, and he's been really good for the Dodgers. He's 15-4 on the season with a 2.52 ERA and a 1.01 WHIP. And, of course, going back to these historical trends, the Dodgers, they averaged nearly 7 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Padres, having good success with the bats against their counterparts here today. Now, Freddie Freeman, he's first in the big leagues right now in batting average. He's hitting .328 at the plate. Meanwhile, Trey Turner, he is in the top 10 in the league in runs batted in. Now, when it comes to the scoring, the Dodgers went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Pods saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers -115, under 7.5. Next matchup, Rangers, Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's -$2 at home, total 7.5. Robbie Ray for Seattle, Jesus Tinoco for Texas. Now, Tinoco's had very limited work this year, just 15 2/3 innings pitched, but he's really made the most of them. He's looked very good. He's got a 1.72 ERA and a .96 WHIP. Meanwhile, when it comes to cashing in on the run line, well, we're looking at a team who's 19-13 against the run line in divisional road games. The Rangers are also in the top 10 in home runs, so this is a team that's been consistently a threat to hit the long ball. Corey Seager, he currently has 32 home runs on the year. Of course, that is a club best. And Nate Lowe, he is in the top 10 in the bigs right now in batting average. He's hitting .304. They're taking on a Mariners team who dropped 7 out of their last 10 themselves, and they cashed in on the run line in just 30% of those ball games during that stretch. Seattle with the bats, they're in the bottom 5 in home scoring, bottom 3 in home hits. When it comes to the numbers, Seattle's 19-12 to the under in their divisional home games. No real shocker there. They're also 6-3 to the under in their last 9 Robbie Ray starts. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers here, plus 1.5, keeping that one close, and the under 7 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Rockies at the Giants, and that'll be a 9:45 Eastern first pitch. San Francisco's minus $1.80, total 7. Logan Webb for San Francisco, German Marquez for Colorado. Now, Marquez is just 8-12 on this season with a 5.15 ERA. Meanwhile, Colorado as a team, they dropped 6 out of their last 7, and they currently find themselves dead last in road scoring. They are scoring fewer runs a game on the road than any other club in the majors. Now, they have to face Logan Webb on the other side as well for the Giants, and he's 14-9 on the bump with an ERA in the 2s, 1.16 whip. He's also got over 156 strikeouts on the season. Now, the Giants got the W in 6 out of their last 7. They've been playing some pretty good baseball over the past week or so, and they do currently find themselves in the top 10 in home scoring, doing a good job with run production at Oracle Park. Wilmer Flores, he is the club leader in runs batted in. When it comes to the total, San Fran averaged just about 5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Rockies. Meanwhile, Colorado, they went 5-4 to the over in their last 9 German Marquez starts. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco minus 180 and the over 7. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website. I like Tampa Bay plus 1.5 under 7. Give me Pittsburgh minus $1.15 under 7 runs. Kansas City plus $1 over 8. Give me the Braves minus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. Now, I can't give you a free pick in the Yankees-Blue Jays game. Unfortunately, that's being featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website, so no free pick for that game. I like the Mets minus 1.5 over 7. Give me Boston minus $1.25 over 9. Now, as far as the Cardinals-Brewers game, that's another one. Unfortunately, I can't give you a free pick on that. That game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my website. The good news is that play is only going to cost you just $1.99. So once again, no free pick for the St. Louis-Milwaukee game. I like Philadelphia minus 1.5 under 7. As far as the White Sox-Twins game, can't give you a freebie on that one. That's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. That's only going to cost you just $2.99. Give me Houston minus 1.5 under 8. LA Angels minus 1.5 under 8 runs. LA Dodgers minus $1.15 under 7.5. Texas Rangers plus 1.5 under 7 and a hook. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Giants minus 180 and the over 7. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I'll tell you what, had a really nice day yesterday. We had a winning day in our personal sports bets. We went 3-2. And also, in the middle of the day, I was, preparing my college football video, which will be released here today. But I was preparing my video, and a buddy called me up, and he said, hey, can you be at the country club in an hour? And I'm not a country club guy. I don't belong to one. But there was a tournament going on. They needed a last-minute fill-in. And I said, yeah, absolutely. So went to the country club, and we shot 8 under, which I didn't think would be anywhere close because a lot of these mom-and-pop tournaments you go to, the winning team comes in at like 15, 16 under. They completely cheat. I actually played in a tournament Sunday. It rained for an hour straight during the tourney, and the winning team came in 16 under. I mean, nobody's hitting birdies and eagles in pouring down rain. But anyway, so we went to like the public course and we got smoked. We go to the country club yesterday, shoot 8 under. We took second place finish for us. So great day. Got a couple of wins under my belt in my personal bets, and got the job done on the golf course too. I was actually in the running for closest to the pin for a good amount of the tournament, and then later in the tournament, somebody got a chip shot a little bit closer than me. But hey, it was overall still a great day, and Don't tell nobody, but it didn't cost me anything. So, so that's, I guess, the benefits of being a pretty good golfer. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.